I am so indebted to CNBC. I've been scraping and clawing to get back to do this show, number one. And I can't think of a better home than this because I do watch this network. And for all the reasons that you watch this network, this is it just fits so perfectly because not only is it entertaining and not only is it, a fun, edge of your seat, screamette kind of show, but I think it's a great teaching moment. It is a great, and it's risk versus reward, which I believe the stock market is, risk versus reward. It teaches every lesson that you guys teach each and every day in real life. This is a game, and the game is no skill whatsoever, so you don't have to know about the market. You don't have to know about anything. You don't have to know trivia. You don't have to have any physical acumen. You just show up, and if you feel in your gut that you're doing the right things, your life can change forever.
There's a little bit of math involved, right? Is there a way to math this out? I, by the way, played the video. Now in some arcades, they now have a Deal or No Deal arcade. Do you know about this?
Do I know about this?
You play it all the time.
I get paid for it.
Do you play it, by the way?
At like Dave & Buster's?
Yeah.
For tickets? I have. I have it in my office, to be honest with you. I have that game in my office.
But there is math. There is math involved here now.
Well, odds, and people don't realize this. And this is what's great about this show is, this is Deal or No Deal 2.0, and we have made some changes. And one of the changes is that once in the show, the contestant can counteroffer. And they can negotiate. So there's your numbers. You can't just willy-nilly throw out a number. It's got to make sense based on the odds, based on the number. And our new banker.
I was going to say, are they negotiating with the banker or with you?
Yeah, the banker.
Yeah.
So the banker is now female, but she is working strictly, sometimes the contestants, and you'll see it when you watch the show, will kind of appeal. He's a good person. He deserves this. And she's just strictly about money and about the numbers. So you weigh the odds against what is there and the amount of money. It's just strict, shrewd business and numbers. So that's why it's a good game.
There were economists who studied it. Steve Leisman came in, and economists look at this for crowd behavior, crowd psychology, because that tells you a lot about market movements, too. Market movements are based sometimes on fundamentals, but sometimes just crowd psychology. And they've gone in and looked at all of these things.
Yeah, well, Steve did an article. He's standing right there. Steve did an article on the show in 2006, and it's in economic textbooks. They've actually used it in economic textbooks, in economy textbooks, and in psychology textbooks. And, economics and psychology, I think, is the epitome of what the market is, right? So I never thought, as somebody who, I'll be totally honest with you, who doesn't even have a GED, that I would be a small part of teaching people economics and market and whatever. Though I love it. I'm risk adverse myself.
I was going to say, you're pretty conservative. Would you?
No,
how would you perform in Deal or No Deal?
Horrible. I think personally I would do well because I would walk out with the first offer because that's a guarantee. So I'd probably have like 10 grand or 15 grand for doing nothing, which I think is a really good investment. But for television, I wouldn't be the show would be over in like 11 minutes and there'd be no tension. It would just be, I'm going to take it. I wouldn't go for it. But that's the beauty of people. That's the beauty of America. That's the beauty of the economy. That's what this is about. Go for it.
Do you have a favorite guest? I mean, do you have a favorite situation?
No, I'll be totally honest.
A moment where you go, wow, that was really something?
I do have one. When it becomes like serendipitous, I tell a story about in the last run, and some things happen. You got to watch. And remember, tonight, 8 o'clock, right here on this network, don't miss the premiere because this first guy, Joe, is amazing. And I will be tweeting along live. But I will tell you a story from the last incarnation of the show. There was a kid, a young Korean man who was about to start his life, and I get out of them what their story is, and he talked about how his parents came from Korea with nothing but $750 in a bag. And they came with 2 kids, they didn't speak the language, and he made a life for himself here in America, and they worked at a dry cleaner and whatever, and finally he's going to college. He was going to do something in the stock market, I think, and he couldn't believe the American dream, and now he's on Deal or No Deal, where he has an opportunity to expand his life and walk out with $1 million. He played the game, and when he played the game, he pushed all the way until there were 2 cases left. And one case had $750, and one case had $750,000. What are the odds? So the offer was $350,000, and he took the offer, smartly took the offer, didn't take the gamble. And then I took his case to see what he had chosen, and I took it in the office and in the audience, and his father was sitting there. So I had this little case like this, and I gave it to his father, and I said, he just sold this case for $350,000. What does he have? And this little Korean man in his 80s at this time opens the case, and there was $750, like he started with. It was like the circle of life. It was a beautiful, beautiful. So that's what, this is a show about humanity, about economy, about risk versus reward. It's got I call it an emotional roller coaster. So tune in at 8, watch with me.